Robert Edris was born in Lebanon, PA on April 1st, 1973. When Robert graduated from high school, he enlisted into the Marines, which is something he has wanted to do since he was 17. In March of 1992, Edris departed for his basic training camp. While at basic training camp, Edris participated in PT training, academic training, and drill and ceremony training.
Typical day at boot camp. Starts about 05 in the morning, which is 5 o'clock in the morning. You have 15-20 minutes to get ready. Upon getting out, you had to make your bunk. Then you'd get into PT gear. PT was done every morning after you got out of the bunk, to which PT lasted probably an hour and a half. Took you up to 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. You had a quick breakfast. After that, you went into some academic training, which was just, depending on where you were in the boot camp cycle, it could be history, marksmanship training, just on and on. And then from there, almost every day was some sort of D&C, like drill and ceremony type stuff, where you were on the parade deck, learning how to march, walk, that type stuff. And then in the afternoon or later in the evening, again, it led into usually another PT cycle, physical training cycle. And then you had time to square away your uniform and your boots for the next day after you ate. So typically about 8, 9 o'clock at night, you were on your own time studying for either the next day's agenda or preparing your uniform for what was to come the next day.
Once Edris graduated from Marine Corps boot camp, he moved on to his specialized training, which lasted for 30 days and consisted mainly of marksmanship training. During his specialized training camp, Edris also learned how to use many different types of handguns and other special weapons.
You learn everything from the small handguns from a 9mm up until a big gun of, say, a 50 cal, or even the 40mm grenade launcher and everything in between.
Edris also participated in road marches that were several miles long while at a specialized training camp. When Mr. Edris was done with all of his training, he was first stationed in Okinawa, Japan. After spending a year in Okinawa, he was then sent to Korea for a short amount of time. Once Edris's one-year tour was over, he was then sent to 29 Palms, California for 3 months. After spending 3 months in California, Edris was sent to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, which is where he served his last 2.5 years of active duty. During his tour, Edris was also stationed in the Balkan regions. While in the Marine Corps, Edris's MOS was a 2531, which was a field radio operator.
The MOS in the Marine Corps essentially was a 2531, which is by book, I guess, is a field radio operator. Essentially, that's setting up radios, communications for one unit to talk to another, whether it be via antenna, fax machines, that type stuff, or even field phones at the time. You'd run wires, stretch them out for 2-3 miles, and then you'd talk phone to phone. We didn't have cell phones back then, so they were called field phones.
Edris also delivered messages to other units that contained information that couldn't be said over the field radio. Edris would deliver these messages by riding a Kawasaki KLR motorcycle on dry, rough terrain.
Main duty while in the Marine Corps, although trained in communications, I had a side job, which was essentially a rode motorcycle for the Marine Corps. Anything that wasn't given, that couldn't be talked or given over the radio or a telegraph or via field phone, the message had to be placed in a satchel, wore on your chest, and essentially there was a team of motorcycle riders in the pair. You always went as a pair, and you had to hand deliver this document from point A to point B via the motorcycle. So that was that.
Another duty that Mr. Edris had while in the Army Guard was a Cobra aircraft mechanic and an AH-64 Delta, also known as the Apache, helicopter mechanic.
The Apache helicopter is essentially the eye in the sky for the infantry guys. Technology today allows us to view a home or an object up to 3.5, 4 miles away, believe it or not. we can see a guy picking his nose at 4 miles away. So it's pretty unbelievable what technology can do with the thermal systems and stuff that are on this system nowadays.
With this job, Edris and his fellow crew members would usually work a 13-hour shift each day. While in the Army Guard, Edris was stationed in Afghanistan. One of the most challenging things that Edris had to face in Afghanistan was the weather. This consisted of multiple dust storms due to the dry climate and extreme cold at times. While in the service, Edris won a total of 19 medals.
Some of these medals include the Meritorious Service Medal, the Army Commendation Medal, and the Army Achievement Medal. Idris's highest rank achieved was a Sergeant First Class E7. As of 2015, Robert Edris still serves in the Army Guard. Even though he is no longer a part of the Marine Corps, he still looks up to it as his true branch of service.
Say about the Marine Corps is it's a unique branch of service. It teaches you a lot of discipline and camaraderie among your fellow members and such. And in the Marine Corps, it's the big thing is Semper Fidelis, which is always faithful. And I will look back on the Marine Corps, and it's my true branch of service is the Marine Corps.